Hi, everyone. We'll get started in a few minutes. We're just going to let the all the attendees come in. I see there's a few people, but just give it another couple of minutes. Sometimes with our Rutgers Zoom accounts, it requires some updates. So I think there might be some people stuck in Zoom update mode.
I was stuck yesterday.
Yeah,
Me
I know.
too. Me too.
Yeah, yeah. Look,
I had an update. I'm like, oh no.
I need to remember that when we send the invites out for things like this, to just warn people that they may be required to do an update. And I say that for everything that I do, and I never remember to do it. So I apologize to any attendees here who were surprised by having to do a Zoom update. That's the fault of Rutgers University. Feel free to send your complaints.
Yeah, I think it's a Zoom related issue that as someone just mentioned, it happens sometimes.
It's like we have we just have a lot of security protocols at the university for connecting anything that connects into our network. So we have whatever super secure package for Zoom, which requires most other people don't have, so then it requires an update.
Well, speaking of security, we're scheduled to attend a session at Bristol Myers, and I just received an email in terms of the security features of getting into their premise, the complex, next Friday. It's like I was in the military and I never went through all of that stuff that they list. It's amazing. But
right. Well, it seems like we're getting some folks in now. Those of you that are here that are just joining us, we're just giving it an extra 5 minutes. We'll start at 12:05 just to account for some updates, some Zoom updates that might be happening. Feel free to introduce yourself in the chat if you want, who you are, whether you're a phase 1 purchaser, phase 2, anything that you want to share about yourself, feel free. Or nothing if you don't want to. That's fine too. And Olivia, we'll just start right at 12:05. Does that work for you? Okay. I'm gonna just put my screen up, Olivia, so it's up while you're talking. And
All right.
go ahead and start whenever you're ready.
All right, great. Hi, and welcome everyone. Thank you for joining today's webinar hosted by the Rutgers University and JZIP Help Desk and the Greater Newark Enterprises Corporation. I'm Olivia, Clean Energy Senior Project Officer at the New Jersey Economic Development Authority. On behalf of the authority and the ZIP program, we're really happy to see so many of you utilizing this great technical assistance resource with Rutgers and GNEC today. Thank you.
Thank you, Olivia. Hi, everyone. My name is Miriam Salerno, and
Oh, Lena was gonna say
oh, I'm
something
sorry. I
too.
didn't realize Lena was going to introduce herself. Go ahead,
That's
Lena.
okay.
Sorry.
All right. Hi, everyone. I'm Lena Ravetti, Clean Energy Project Officer at the EDA. As many of you know, NJZIP is a two-phase $90 million venture program housed within the New Jersey Economic Development Authority with the purpose of reducing transportation emissions, creating economic opportunity, and accelerating the adoption and use of zero-emission vehicles in the state of New Jersey by lowering the upfront cost of purchasing zero-emission, medium, and heavy-duty vehicles. And with that, I'll pass it back to Miriam. Thanks everyone for joining.
Thank you, Lena. I'm sorry about that. Okay. Hi again. I'm Miriam Salerno, and just to introduce myself, I'm the project manager on the Rutgers side for the NJZIP Help Desk. Olivia mentioned that we are in a partnership with EDA to provide extra support and service to the NJZIP program to help you purchasers and vendors with application process and provide assistance with planning for electric vehicle ownership. This webinar is part of the package of things that we're doing. We're doing live information sessions. We have a resource website, and we have telephone and text services as well. I'm sure many of you have contacted the help desk for a variety of reasons. We have a great staff here who are available to answer your calls. We have a website, and our website is a little bit different than the EDA ZIP website. We have some extra resources on there. Things for you to look through that might be helpful when you're planning for electric vehicle ownership. So I encourage you to check it out. You can email us any questions you have, and we will do our best to answer them. And if we can't answer them, to do additional resource or connect you with other folks who can answer your question. We have a live phone number. We are here answering the phone during business hours, 9 to 5, 5 days a week. You can call us, you can text us. And we also have a help desk officer who is bilingual with English and Spanish. So if you're more comfortable asking your questions in Spanish, please let us know. You can email or call us in Spanish. So as I mentioned, we are trying to cover the full range of topics to help you with your electric vehicle ownership and to help you get through the NJZIP program. I'm not going to read this slide. This is just a sampling of some of the things that we are anticipating wanting to cover through the help desk. But what I want to emphasize here is that we want to know from you what issues and challenges you're having so we can create content that suits your needs. So please don't be shy to reach out to us and say like that you need more information on something or you want help with something. We're here to help to support you to make sure that this program runs smoothly and that you have a successful experience both with the program and with your electric vehicles. So some of the current resources just to highlight on our website for you, this is a sampling of some of the things that you'll get. We have an updated NJZIP frequently asked questions. This is really comprehensive, and I encourage you, if you haven't yet taken a look at it, to take a look at it. It is available in English and Spanish. We have some great fact sheets on electric vehicle ownership. Here on the screen is a sample of one that our team did on charging. It talks about all the different types of chargers, how to install them, where to go to look for them. I encourage you to take a look at that as well. And a few weeks ago, we did our first webinar, sort of like Electric Vehicles 101. It was really nicely done with one of the experts on our team. So I encourage you, if you haven't yet, to take a look at that as well and browse through for other things. One of the items that we added recently to our website is a small business development directory. One of the things that we noticed through the help desk is that we were getting calls from purchasers who are new businesses or just starting businesses that had general questions about technical assistance for businesses that went a little bit beyond just electric vehicle ownership. You might be using these electric vehicles as an opportunity to start a new business or expand your business. So questions like about, business development, strategic planning, hiring, all of that stuff. It's really not our expertise. So what we did here is we put together some other resources for you to check out. And I just want to point out that New Jersey has the New Jersey Small Business Development Centers. If you haven't heard of these, there's one in every county. You can go to their website. You can fill out a form, a request to speak with a client services officer there, and they can really sort of guide you through the process of getting whatever state available resources there are to support your small business. Which leads me to the introduction for the Greater Newark Enterprise Corporation. Again, we're getting questions from folks about technical assistance and financing, and who better to talk to you about that than GNEC, which is exactly what they do. They are a unique nonprofit organization that is designed specifically to help with the needs of small businesses and emerging businesses. And they reached out to us to partner for this webinar. We're really grateful because I think you'll find that a lot of the services that they offer may suit your needs. So, and with that, I would also say that they are also receive grants from EDA. So we are partners there as well. And before I turn it over to Al and Onal, I just want to mention to you how we're going to use the Q&A and the chat. If you have questions for any of the panelists, please use the Q&A feature on the webinar. If you have comments or want to say, like, introduce yourself or share a resource out with the rest of the group, feel free to use the chat. But if you want your question answered, you need to use the Q&A. And what we're going to do is we'll collect your questions during their presentation. Whatever we can answer on the spot, we will. And what we can't answer on the spot, we are going to answer at the end of the presentation from Al and Onal. So with that, I am going to turn it over to GNEC. Let me pull up your.
Okay. Thank you, Miriam. Thank you for everyone else on the call today from Rutgers and also NJEDA. As Miriam mentioned, my name is Al Alvarez. I'm the program director at Greater Newark Enterprises Corporation. Before I get into more of the information that we're going to provide to you, just want to mention that although Newark is in our name, we're known as Greater Newark Enterprises Corporation. We are a community developmental financial institute, and we cover the entire state of New Jersey. Today with me is my colleague, Onel, who's going to talk to you specifically about our loan products and services that we have. One of the things I want to mention is that many small business owners, when COVID started, were left behind, and they could not apply for SBA loans or products. I think, for example, the EDIL and the PPP. During that period of time, we took a step back, and also part of our post-loan technical assistance program, we queried a small business community to find out what help did they need, and the back office to alleviate some of the administrative portions, and also in terms of alleviate paperwork that they did not have available. So we spoke about putting together what we call the BackStop program. Again, as the name implies, is to help small business owners with their back office issues that they may have. One of the things that, if we could scroll down a little bit or up, again, the program is designed for small business owners who need help with their back office support. This BackStop program currently has 3 tracks to it. We're working on a 4th and a 5th track. What it does provide is one-on-one services and also consulting, and in some cases, some tech licenses and things like that. These programs are heavily subsidized. As Miriam mentioned, we are also supported by the NJEDA and banks and foundations to provide the program. The BackStop program is a 1-year long program, and it has really a feature, and that is that these programs, since they're heavily subsidized by us to the vendors, we wanted to have the small business owner who enrolls skin in the game, so to speak. So because if we gave away the program, everybody would want it, but there are features that requires, based on the scope of work that's detailed on the flyer, that they have to be available. For example, if the person who's going to provide the support for track 1, which is the bookkeeping track, When they call a small business owner, we wanted to make sure that that small business owner, as I said, has skin in the game financially, and also they have to dedicate time. That's one of the requirements. Getting into the enrollment, it is a $300 per year. It is a 12-month program, as I mentioned, heavily subsidized by us from grants that we receive from banks and foundations. Track 1 is a bookkeeping track. The person would obtain QuickBooks online subscription for 1 year. It includes 50 hours of bookkeeping services and training for the staff on how to use that for their bookkeeping requirements. Track 2 is that when we look back, we wanted to think about how can we help them, the small business owner, try to obtain business credit. Rather than using their consumer to business credit, we work and have worked with Dun & Bradstreet to build the person's or small business's business credit. In other words, business to business, that could help in the cash flow. It could help in various aspects of it. Track 3 is a very popular program that includes branding, website evaluation and development, digital marketing, and in some cases, depending on the industry, e-commerce features. So everything that you see in the scope of work listed for all tracks is what the program entails. Now, if you, for example, as Marion mentioned, if you need business planning assistance, cash flow projections, and things like that, that's separate and distinct from the BackStop program. We certainly could connect you with our partners at both at the state level, for example, the NJSBDC, and also agencies that could provide business planning classes. So if any of these are of interest to you, I would encourage you to visit our website. If we can scroll up a second.
Oh.
Okay, there we go. Okay, if you're interested, I would encourage you to please go to our website, which is gnec.org. On that website, you're going to find right on the top taskbar, you'll find information on loans, which Onel is going to talk to you about, and also on the technical assistance. I would encourage you to click on the tab that interests you and fill out our intake form. This way we will get your information. If you prefer, however, and you want to have a direct conversation with me, my contact details are on the screen right now. And as I said, we are supported by NJDA and the others that are listed on the flyer that you're looking at right now. Okay, I would like to open it up and hand this over to Onel so he can talk to you about products and loans.
Oh, thank you, Al. Thank you. As you can all see, one of the things he mentioned a few times is highly subsidized, and that is important. What we do is highly subsidized. We get a lot of money from a lot of different institutions. As Al mentioned, NJEDA is one of the big sponsors of our programs. So with this money, we start creating programs such as the BackStop. We also subsidize rates. I'm going to talk specifically about one of our funding programs that we have that may help you, especially if you're going with the NJ-ZIP program, and that is what we call the Green Fund. It was recently 7.99% fixed rate, which that in itself is way lower than the norm. As everybody knows, interest rates have been creeping up. Right now, the prime rate is at 8.5%. And banks usually add 1, 2, 3 points above prime. So you can imagine how high that's going. We just lowered it just recently to 5.99%. That's a fixed rate loan, okay, with no prepayment penalties. Now, who can qualify for the Green Fund? Well, number one, you must be established in New Jersey. Your business must be registered in New Jersey. If you're out of state, I can't help you. The other thing is that you have to be a smaller business. Now, the state categorized small business with their own metrics, and probably we're thinking that's a pretty big business anyway, but it has to be less than $1.5 million in annual revenues. That's what is acceptable, and that's the market that we deal with. The last item is that it must be used for either completing the purchase, because as you know, with the NJ-ZIP program, they give you a lot of money to help you buy your electric vehicle, but you have to bring the transportation from California. Then there's other cost involved, and it might not cover everything. That's where we come in. We will be able to help lend you the difference, so therefore you don't have to dip into the business savings, and you can leave that there as working capital. Or the other thing that we can do is we finalize the build. As you may know, when they give you that van, that truck, whatever vehicle it is, it's not fully complete on the inside. It's pretty much a shell on the inside. So depending on what type of business you have, are you a plumber, for instance, or are you selling clothing out of the van? You're going to have to work it a little differently. That's where we can help you. We can help you also with wraparounds. You want to have an advertisement on the outside of the truck or the van. So again, all the things that pertain to the ZIP program and you getting your vehicle, we can help you with the financing. Now, let me go a little bit into the type of loans we do and what the difference is and so forth. As you already know, we're dealing with smaller businesses. So our loan amounts are anywhere between $1,000 up to $75,000. We can go up to $100,000. As a matter of fact, yesterday at the office, we did close a $100,000 loan, but that we need exceptions for that. So the norm, just to keep with the norm, is up to $75,000. Now, there's two different categories of loans. The first loan, the smaller loans, between $1,000 and $20,000, they're called the Dream Maker loans. And then anything above 20 up to 75 is called the Business Builder loans. Now, what is the difference between them? A few differences. Number one, the smaller loans, and that's definitely the most popular loan. They don't require any collateral. So in other words, we're going to need you to sign that you promise to pay back the loan, a personal guarantee at closing, but we will not hold any collateral as the guarantee for the loan. But once you go over the 20,000 mark for a loan, then we will require collateral. Now, one thing that I want you to have in mind, we cannot use the electric vehicle as the collateral. And the reason is because you don't get title to that vehicle right away. And what we would need is a title to be free and clear, where therefore we can put a lien so we can hold it as collateral. So it has to be collateral from another source. The other difference is that the smaller loans, everything is done in-house. It's myself, the executive director, and two underwriters who will review the file, and we either approve or deny, hopefully approve. And that is it. That decision is final. Once it's over $20,000, however, we will go through the same process. We will review the loan, we do the due diligence, and let's say we accept, we say, yep, let's go for it. It's still not done yet. We now have to present in front of a credit committee. It is made up between 5 to 7 different bankers, and they will review the file, and we need their approval to be able to go forward. Those are the two biggest differences between the two files, the two types of loans. Now, every loan will qualify you based on what the lending institutions call the 3 C's of lending. In other words, we're going to take a look, number one, collateral. Like I said, if it's a Dream Maker loan, the small ones, we just overlook that. If it's a bigger loan, now we do have to take a look at the collateral. We will, as collateral, just so I'm going to get a little technical here, but we will take 80% of the actual fair market value as the collateral value. So in other words, if you want to apply for a $40,000 loan, we would need a collateral that's worth $50,000. The reason is $50,000, 80% of that is $40,000. That covers the loan. So that's the first C. The second C is credit. I want to tell you, that's important. That's always going to be important. In this country, it's more important to have good credit than to have a lot of money. Because with good credit, you can always access a lot of money. If you have bad credit, unfortunately, whatever money you have, that's all you have. So you're not going to be able to get more. We will look at your credit and your credit score. We would like to see 640 or more in the FICO score, but it's not written in stone. Unlike traditional institutions, we don't have an algorithm where if you're at 639, automatic denial. It doesn't work that way. We will take a look at the intricacies of your credit. Have you been paying on time? What is your utilization ratio? Are you up to the limit? All these things come into play. But the credit is something that's important that we will be looking at. By the way, everything that we qualify people on is a lot more lenient when we do the underwriting than the traditional lenders. So our FICO scores are a little lower. We even go below the FICO scores on the collateral. We're using 80%, where many institutions are using 70%, 60%. So everything is, like I said, highly subsidized and very lenient, which is a great combination. The last thing we will look at, the last C, is called capacity. And we need to see that the client, the borrower, has the capacity to pay back the loan. We can do startups. That's not a problem. We have done startups. Not yesterday, but the week before, we closed 2 startups. Now, in a startup or an established business, we just need to see that there is current income. Now, obviously, if it's a startup, there is no business income at the moment. But again, being highly flexible, what we can do is we can take the person's income. If they have a job, which a lot of people have a job and they're trying to open up a side gig, that's fine. We'll use that job's income to help qualify. What we need to show is that there is enough money being generated, whether it's the business, the job, Social Security, pension, whatever it may be, as long as the income is coming in, that there's enough to pay your current obligations, your car payments, minimum credit card bills, rents, and so forth, plus the new loan. As long as it covers that, it meets the criteria that we need for capacity, which, by the way, is very, very lean. If you ask any banker, they'll tell you that you can never do that, because normally what bankers want is they use a 1.2% ratio, or 1.2, I'm sorry. And what that means is that they need some money left over. Not all your money can go to pay your bills, because then there's nothing left. So we're highly flexible in that case. Now, the application process, this is the last thing I'm going to get into, and then please, I'll open it up to any questions you may have. The application process is fairly simple. Everything nowadays is done via the internet. We send you a link depending on which loan you're applying for, whether it's a Dream Maker or the Business Builder. I'll send you the appropriate link, and you start it up. You set up an account with your email address and a password, and then we start asking for information. The first part is going to be what we call the profile. And that's going to be information on yourself, information on the business. Is it registered as an LLC? Is it an S Corp, C Corp? All that kind of stuff. Then after we have that, you can continue on with the documentation phase. And that's when we're going to be requesting, we want to see your tax returns and the business tax returns. We would like to see bank statements. Now, why do we want to see bank statements? Well, that gives us a good indication of the cash flow, because a lot of times, unfortunately, or fortunately, however you look at it, accountants sometimes, especially if it's a cash business, they don't actually show everything that's being made. Now, all of a sudden, you're showing that you only make $20,000 a year, which doesn't qualify you for a loan. But if we can take the bank statements and we're seeing that you're actually depositing $15,000, $20,000 per month, well, we can use that figure to help you qualify. Again, highly flexible, highly subsidized, all our programs, and it gives you a big advantage in trying to get a low interest rate loan and make your qualifications a little easier. Now, as far as the time of how long it takes, I always tell clients the same thing. Yeah, a lot of it is going to be dependent on you. How quickly are you going to be able to get us the stuff that we need? Because we're going to request a lot of information, just like any lender would. The quicker you can get us that, the quicker we can underwrite the file and go right into the approval process and go into closing. Until we receive everything, we don't even look at the file, unfortunately. So let's say we have everything except for your tax returns. That file is sitting there collecting dust. Well, not on the internet, right? But you know what I mean. And we're not looking at it. Once you give us everything, the following week, every Tuesday, we get together, the 4 of us at the office, and we either approve or deny the loans. Our goal is always to approve the loans. That's what we're in business for, to try to approve loans and help the community. When we approve it on a Tuesday, the following Thursday is when we have the closings. So yesterday we had closings at the office. Those closings were the ones we approved last Tuesday. And the process continues. So we can close, and we have closed in as little as 2 weeks. But a lot of it is dependent on how quickly you can get us the information we need. I'm sorry, I don't have anything to give you, but maybe one of our assistants here can put my email address. It's O Valaris, that's my last name, which is spelled out there, ovalaris gnec.org. Please send me an email. Tell me that you're requesting some information. I'll send you some information, and then we'll schedule a time where we can talk one-on-one, and I can give you more detailed answer, more specific questions pertaining just to you, and open it up, and let's see how we can help.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
Okay.
So just wanted to now open it up to Q&A for our guests. There are currently no open questions in the chat, but if you have additional follow-up questions, please put them in the Q&A and we will answer them live.
I must have covered everything.
Someone just mentioned that the chat is disabled, so I apologize for that. Please use the Q&A feature to ask your questions, and we'll try to get that chat enabled right away. Do you see our chats with the see? There's a question here. Could you please give us an example of collateral?
Sure. That's a good question. Collateral, it can be a few things. The preferred collateral that all lenders, including us, that we would like to see is real estate. And let me give you how that formula works. Again, remember, it's 80%. So let's say the fair market value of a real estate property happens to be $500,000. Well, the first thing we do is we take 80% of that 500. That makes it 400,000. Now, 400,000 is not the real value, but it's the collateral value for our purposes. From there, what we do is we subtract any mortgages that may be owed on the property. So let's say there was $350,000 owed in mortgages. That would mean, we'll start at the beginning, 500,000 is the actual value, 80% is 400,000, minus the 350, that gives us $50,000 of collateral availability. So we can do a loan up to $50,000 based on those numbers. Now, we also do equipment as the collateral. So if like yesterday we closed a pizzeria and they were buying a lot of ovens and so forth, it's a high-end operation they're having, we're using those machines as the collateral. So the gentleman has to put out 20% up front from his end, because we will be able to lend them 80% of the value of their collateral. So that's another collateral. We have used trucks for the people who are truckers. We have used trucks in the past as the collateral. Now, the reason why I mentioned in the past is right now, the trucking industry is an industry that we did too many loans last year. So it kind of unbalanced our portfolio where we had a lot of money out in the trucking industry. So for the moment, and this might change now starting in January, but for the moment, we are not taking trucks into account. Now, if it's a ZIP program, then that's a truck, that's different, because now we're going to go through the green fund, so we can get around that. But that is another form of collateral. Accounts receivable is another form of collateral that we can use. Now, what accounts receivable is that you have already done the job. Let's say you're a contractor and you already did the work at the house, and now they owe you money, but they usually pay you, 30 days, 60 days down the line. We can use that invoice as collateral. Now, very important, it has to be part of your normal operations. In other words, if you're always charging a client and then one client, you decided to give them 30 or 60 days, we can't use that. It has to be a normal form of conducting business. And that happens a lot when you're dealing with the state or the federal government. They usually don't pay you right away. And a lot of people that deal with them, they got this rolling revenue that will come later on. We can use that as collateral. What we cannot use as collateral are liquor license. I'll give you an example, because we can't sell the liquor license. We got to go through a process of getting in of being able to get the liquor license in our name, and we can't do that. Liquor is another thing that we can't use. Why? Because by law, we can't sell liquor. So if we take the inventory of liquor, we can't really sell it. So the purpose of collateral for any lender is to be able to have something as a guarantee in a worst case scenario. We don't want this. We just want to get paid. But in a worst case scenario that we take back that collateral, we can resell it and recoup our money as quickly as possible to avoid the losses.
Great, thank you. There was another question about that I thought maybe other people might be wondering. The question is, if you went to a traditional bank first and were denied and that lowered your personal credit score, would you take that into consideration when applying to your program?
Okay, that's a good question. It does not lower your score that much when you apply and whether you get denied or not. It's a few points. So it could be the difference between 640 and 630 now, where we would like to see 640. But again, we're not FICO driven. I would say it might hurt you if you go to another lender because now you're under their cutoff. We don't go strictly by that cutoff. We would like to see the 640, but we will look at everything. And we understand that, you know, if you're applying, you're just looking for the better rate. And if you got denied by a bank, by the way, most of our clients, that's how they come to us. We get a lot of referrals from banks because they don't want their client to be upset. You know, they've been doing banking and so forth. And now the bank is saying no to them. So obviously the client gets a little mad because they expected a yes. So they send it our way. We will take a look at everything, not just make a decision based on a credit score. And one last thing on that, just so you know, the algorithms of FICO have changed. They changed back quite a few years ago. But in the past, many, many years ago, every time you applied, it would knock down your FICO score. Nowadays, they fix the algorithm. So if you apply at Bank of America, then you go to TD Bank, then you go to Valley and you apply. It only counts as one inquiry. As long as you do it within, I think it's like 2 weeks or a month, depending on which version of FICO. And the reason is because they know what you're doing is you're shopping around. You're being a smart customer. So it won't affect you as much as some people think.
Thank you. And then there was a question here about the loan terms. How many months or years do you offer?
Great question. Oops, I forgot that. Okay, if it's the smaller loans between 1,000 and 20,000, the Dream Maker, typically it's 4 years. Sometimes if let's say the client is going for $3,000, we might bring it down to 3 years. In some cases, if the client has very good FICOs and they request to have a lower payment, we may stretch it to 5. So it's between 3 and 5, but typically it will be 4 years. When it's the bigger loan, the business builder loans, it is typically 5 years. Once again, the same scenario, if it's 25 or so, we might go down to 4. If we feel that they have a great payment history and they want a little bit lesser of a monthly payment, we will stretch it out to 6. But typically, it's 4 years for the smaller loans, 5 years for the bigger loans. And these are all fixed payments. So whatever it is that you pay the first month, that's what you'll pay every single month. And right now, on the green fund is 5.99% and no prepayment. So if you want to, if your payment, let's just say it's 450 and you say, you know what, I want to send 500 every month, feel free, do so. There's no penalty for that extra 50. Or if you come, you win the lottery, right? Let's hope so. It's big right now, by the way. You can pay it off. Just ask us, what do I owe? Send out the check and that's it. It's done.
Thank you. So I think there's a clarifying question in the chat. Where can I apply for grants or loans to start a small business? I think you touched on this. Like if you're just starting out, you can apply for loans if you have, other income or collateral. So I just want to reiterate that again.
Yep. If you can get a grant, get a grant. Don't come to us, get a grant. And by the way, NJEDA has a lot of grants. I mean, we're just talking about the ZIP. There's a lot of programs that NJEDA does. where it's grant money. And grant is awesome because they give you the money, you don't have to pay it back. So that's fantastic. That beats a loan any day. But as far as a loan, typical lenders will not lend you your starting off. They want to see at least 2 years, and most of them 3 years of tax returns, and they qualify you based on the business revenue, not on anything personal. In our case, we will take a look at brand new business. That's not a problem. However, there is what they call the credit crunch that has happened lately. And all lenders, from the top all the way down to the CDFIs, we have all gotten a little stricter than we were going back a year and a half ago, 2 years. In the past, we would take a look at projections a lot more than we do nowadays. Nowadays, we'll take a look at them, but we need to see that there is current income. The good news is that it doesn't have to be current income from your business, because the business is starting out, you got none. It could be personal income, where you can get a co-signer so that we can use their income. Again, if we're using their income, we're also going to use their debt. So we got to see the balance between them. Make sure there is always enough money left over to cover the new loan.
Looks like the last question in here is pretty specific, but can you use fast EV chargers as collateral if you've purchased chargers?
How much do they go for roughly? Because I'm not
$2,500 each usually. Maybe Yabu knows.
Okay. Keep in mind, remember, it's anything over 20,000 that would require collateral, and we're going to use 80% of that value, and that is the maximum. So if you wanted to borrow 40,000, you would need to have $50,000 worth of collateral. So if an EV charger, some special EV charger is worth 50,000 and you already paid it off and you own it, yeah, we can use that. But I don't think that's going to work out based on, what you just said, Miriam, of their value. They got to be worth a lot of money. Again.
This gentleman is saying he has $200,000 worth of chargers.
Okay. If he has $200,000 worth of chargers and they are paid off, obviously they can't have liens because we would want to put a lien, and we can't take a second position lien unless it's real estate. Because what happens in a worst case scenario, there will be some other lender who will be able to take it, not us. So as long as it's paid off, that's fine. Now, one of the things, I'm not an underwriter. I'm the business development director, so I work hand in hand with the underwriting team. But the underwriters make the ultimate decision on what they feel the risk is. And the reason why I'm mentioning this is technology-based. And technology-based, as you know, every year, things are actually going down in value. So he would have to make that call as to it's worth 200,000 right now. How much, based on other factors, how much can we count on? And perhaps maybe based on the numbers I'm giving you, 200, 80% is 160,000. But he might be a little more conservative. But in any case, even if he is, there's plenty of room because 75,000 is our maximum loan amount. So there's plenty of room to be able to get you the complete loan.
Thank you. Okay, so there's no open questions. We have a few more minutes. Anyone have any closing thoughts, Al? Anything you want to? I will just say that the presentation is going to be posted on the NJZIP Help Desk website, and I will follow up with everyone who's registered as well and send contact information for our guests. If you didn't grab it from the chat, you'll get it via email from us. If you don't see that email or anything you need, you could always reach out to the NJZIP Help Desk. Say you're trying to get in touch with Greater Newark Enterprise Corporation. We will help you. We will, get you to the right person. So we're here for you as a resource. And I guess any closing thoughts from you guys?
Yeah, Miriam, I'd just like to say thank you to you and everybody else from Rutgers and JEDA. You guys are great partners. If we can assist you further going ahead, please do so. As to the folks that are joining us on the call today, As Miriam said, she's going to send out both Linnell and my contact details. Please feel free to contact us. As I opened up when I was talking about the technical assistance side, and I must say this, I was going to make a slight joke about it because I was a little concerned with technical assistance, and we're talking about technology with the EV, and I'm not a mechanic, but I can certainly try to help you with the business planning and the BackStop program and things of that nature. I would encourage you again, please go to our website. I'll repeat, it's GNEC.org. You can learn more about what we do. You'll see both Onel and I on there. Please, on the upper part of the website, right to the right of our logo, you'll see about us, and you can read that. And you can also learn more about the loan programs and also technical assistance. You click on those, either one of those two sites. It'll bring you to a page where you can fill out the intake information, which we certainly would need. As Onel said, if you hit the loan apply now, you fill everything out, and then he'll get it. Likewise, for technical assistance, if you click that and fill out the intake form, I will get that, and then I'll respond to you as soon as possible. Are there any other questions that you may have for Onel or myself?
By the way, and this happens quite a bit, I talk to a client, any questions before I hang up? No questions. And all of a sudden later on, oh, I should have asked. If that happens, that's fine. I mean, just email us and we'll get back to you. It'll be outside this forum, but we'll definitely answer your questions.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for being so generous with your time. We really, really appreciate it. And thank you to everyone who participated today. If you found this helpful, feel free to email the help desk and say it was helpful. If you found, we're always interested in getting some feedback on whether the programming we're doing is supporting your needs. So feel free to send us an email and let us know your thoughts. And we look forward to seeing you all again on another webinar soon. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mary.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Have a great day, everyone.
Bye.